Hey, PopRockers, Paul with you. Hey, we recently did an article on our website, poprockradio.com.au, on Women of Soul. And recently, I was lucky enough to sit down with Chelsea and Monique to talk about the project and about two tracks that have been released before the album drops on the 2nd of June. In just a moment, the first of our videos in the Women of Soul series with the amazing Chelsea Wilson, singer, songwriter, and producer. And as you will find out, much, much more. But before we go, check out my Pop Rock Radio tee. If you'd like to support us, head to our website and grab yourself a treat. All the funds raised help us make more content like our radio stations, Pop Rock Radio and Pop Rock Nation. You can tune in via our website or our mobile app, smart TVs and wearables. But enough of us, here's the talented Chelsea Wilson. Hey, Pop Rockers, here we are with Chelsea Wilson, the vocalist, writer, and producer for Women of Soul. How are you going, Chelsea?
I'm great. Thanks, Paul. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Now, I've just put the big screen on you, so you've got all the limelight on you at the moment. So, Women of Soul, tell us about Women of Soul.
Women of Soul is a collective. So over the past decade, we've had over 70 different artists involved. The project started off as a live music series, and over time it's developed into a songwriting collaboration and also a recording project. And we recently recorded a new album called Feel Good, which involves over 25 creatives. So it's quite a big project.
Yep. That's the album or the EP that's coming out on June 2nd, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. And you've already had two singles. Have they been officially released yet, or are they?
Yeah, they have. Released? Officially out. Two tracks. The first one is called Lifeline, which features Rita Such on the vocals.
Yep.
And the second track is
Candice Munro, I'm Enough.
Candice Monique, yeah.
Oh, Monique. Where did I get Munro from?
I don't know. It could work though.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I can't even understand my own writing. That's pretty bad. Hey, so we're actually speaking to Candice tomorrow, I believe. So I better get a name right before then. Otherwise, we'll.
She'll correct you.
Yeah, well, that's good. Now, one of the things that got me was that when I was reading the bio, it says that it features more than 25 creatives. And it's an all-female premiere collection, collection of female identifying artists. Now, normally we have a controversial question, but this one I think is going to be controversial to me in such a way is that what's the difference? What's the difference between a female identifying artist and a female artist?
Well, the difference is how you choose to identify.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
So it's across a large range of. Not trying to insult you, but it's a long
spectrum, right? So some people prefer to use the term female. Some feel that they might be non-binary or they might be female identifying. Personally, I'm happy with the pronouns she and her, and I am a woman. I'm female, but some people prefer to use the term female identifying.
Oh, that's good because it's we've got what's the word? There's still a lot of discrimination out there on who identifies with what. So it's good that 25 creatives have come together in a safe place to produce a great album.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've heard two of the tracks.
Really exciting. I mean, really, for me, it's about it's about respect, and it's like when you meet someone, and maybe their name is Theodore, but they go by the name Ted, and so that's what you address them as Ted. So it's if somebody chooses to be, they want their pronouns to be this or their pronouns to be that. It's it's about respect for those people and how they wish to be identified. Yeah.
No, that's good because it just threw me when I read the article as female identified. And I was thinking, I wanted to know how it actually included, how it covered the spectrum, which you've really hit the nail on the head. But we're here to talk about Women of Soul, which is up there on the back. Are you doing any live shows? Is it a live show? Or you're just releasing the album? Are you going on tour? You hit the road?
Yeah, I mean, live shows is a huge part of what this
Yep.
collective has done. It's really the main thing that we've done is be a live show.
Yep.
And over the years, we've had so many incredible artists join our live show, like Moju, Clary Brown,
Yep.
from all different states as well. In fact, Randa Karmas from Perth was one of the co-founders of the
Wow.
project. So it's always been an East Coast, West Coast thing from the get-go. We toured to Adelaide a few years ago and collaborated with some artists there. We've had artists from Sydney join the show as well, and from Queensland. So live shows is what we do, and the live shows are really energetic and really festive, and it's kind of a review style. So we have the same backing band and a bunch of different singers perform their original music. And really that's the main difference between the Women of Soul show versus other soul shows that you might see. There's some fantastic homages and cover shows around that do the works of Aretha Franklin or the works of Dusty Springfield or the works of Amy Winehouse. I mean, there's loads of those shows, especially here in Melbourne. There just seems to be so many of them. The difference with Women of Soul, when you come to a live show, you hear all original music by the women performing on stage, and that's really our main difference. There's so many amazing singers. I mean, really, we could have the thousands of women singers, especially. There's so many wonderful female singers in this country. But the key point of difference of who is involved in this collective is that they're also songwriters.
Yep. Oh, cool. Because that's what you were saying there about having like so many performers, so many singers. We've got that same thing. We've got so many musicians, bands contacting us saying, "Can we put them on our radio stations and things?" And it's amazing how much talent there is in Australia that's, I think, is overlooked through on commercial radio stations. We're too busy playing.
Don't get me started, Paul.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, the big thing about commercial radio as well is that if you read the report that Chrissy Vincent wrote a few years ago, it revealed that even though there are radio quotas for commercial radio, a lot of those stations aren't actually sticking or adhering to the quotas. And unfortunately, in Australia, we don't have any sort of consequences for that. So we used to have a committee that oversaw people adhering to the broadcasting guidelines, and that committee was disbanded around 5 or so years ago. I'm not actually sure why, and Chrissy, who wrote the study, is not sure either why that is.
Probably money.
It's unfortunate. In other countries like Canada, if you don't follow the percentage of Canadian music that you're supposed to follow, you get massive fines, you can lose your broadcasting license, there's huge repercussions. But here you can sort of get away with it. But it shouldn't have to be something that is prescribed. It should just be an innate want to support local music, because radio, the main thing that why people listen to radio, I mean, one of the main reasons is because of the music. So you would just hope that backing our own would be a priority, and unfortunately it's not.
Yeah, because in France as well, they've got quotas in France. If you don't abide by the quotas, it's boosted. But that's what we started off Pop Rock Nation, which is our second online station, and that plays nothing but Australian music.
Love it.
So we get Australian music from AMRAP and local bands sending us music, and we'll review it, make sure there's nothing offensive, and hopefully people get the app and start listening.
Love it.
Anyway, so Feel Good is out on June 2nd. Features more than 25 creatives. We've got Candice Monique, which I'm speaking to tomorrow, and we've got Rita Satcher's Lifeline, which is out now. Now, it says in the bio you're a singer, songwriter, and producer. Do you sing on any of the songs on the EP coming out?
Yeah, I do. There's 2 tracks on the album that I'm featuring on as lead vocalist. The opening track called Celebrate, which is like a disco tune. And then there's another song on there called Lover, Don't Lock Me Down.
Sounds fun. Now, what's it like being a producer of this Women of Soul? Having to get so many creatives and take so many different types of personalities and mold them all together and come out with such a great concept.
It's It's really a privilege to be able to work with so many,
Yep.
great artists. And I feel, privileged and, fortunate whenever I ask someone to be involved and they say yes, because they're
Yep.
putting trust in you and your, crazy vision of doing this,
Yep.
epic project. It isn't always easy. I will definitely admit that.
Do
There's a
you
lot
get
of
any divas?
personalities. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that
Yeah.
that go on. Most of the artists though, they're all really lovely,
Yep.
super professional. And recording the album was actually just so smooth sailing.
Oh, good.
I worked with producer engineer Anna Laverty to kind of help capture and record the album, and she brings such a calm and mellow energy and a welcoming energy to the studio space. So that was all just so smooth sailing and really great. There was definitely been parts of the project where, the realities of the Melbourne lockdowns,
Yeah. Oh,
really
yep.
did take a toll. And that's been probably the tricky thing to navigate,
Yep.
really, is because there's so many different people involved. And over the last few years, there's been people have had babies, including myself. There's
Yep.
been babies, there's been divorces, there's been marriages, there's been, relocating
Yep.
overseas, there's been, death, loss, like so many things have happened to each artist on a personal level that, those things and how that's affected their music,
Yep.
affected their availability. And then we have had COVID very much interfere with the project in the way that we were meant to record in 2021, and then when the lockdowns were extended here in
Oh,
Melbourne,
yep.
we had to cancel the whole thing and reschedule the whole thing, and then some people weren't available anymore, and then some people's feelings about the music changed and they didn't want to record certain things anymore, and so the kind of song list changed multiple times, the artist list changed multiple times. We had one artist that went on a major network TV program who was meant to sing a few songs, who then, because she was contracted to
Oh, yep.
on a TV show, then couldn't sing on it anymore, and lots and lots of changes. And even with Candace's track, I'm Enough, she'll probably tell you this story when you speak to her, but the night before we recorded her track, the drummer came down with COVID. So there was
Oh, no.
just, even though
Yep.
we passed the kind of the worst of the lockdowns, it still, had its
Yeah.
impact. So those have been the challenging things, which has been challenging for everyone, and especially in the live music sector and recording sector, with
Yep.
dealing with the impact of the lockdowns.
Did you ever feel like giving up?
um, Look, I've been so absolutely determined to make this record happen. So,
Yep.
nothing was going to stop me. But yeah, there's definitely moments where you just go, oh, uh, especially kind of managing any conflicts or managing any things like that, where I
Yep.
think I could be spending time doing something else. But no, I'm so excited about the record, and it's
Cool.
great to get this end of the project.
All right. So I've got a couple of questions I want to ask you about about the music creation process. Like,
Oh.
first off, where did you get the inspiration to do this? What you're doing, the Women of Soul project, and the collective. Where did you get the inspiration from?
I guess there's a few different factors that have probably influenced me in wanting to produce a project like this.
Yep.
Firstly, I'm a personal fan of all of the music that the women involved in this project make. And
Yep.
so, as an artist, wanting to work with different artists, is kind of what keeps us constantly on
Yep.
our toes. I really am a fan of Tando's songwriting, Audrey Pound.
Yep.
They're people that I'd been mates with and had worked in other capacities with, but this was the first time we actually wrote some songs together.
Yep.
That was a really beautiful experience, and that was a driver. But
Yep.
probably for me, some of the statistics around women's involvement in the music industry in Australia were pretty inspiring, I guess, for
Yep.
me to go, well, what can we do about it? There's been a lot of conversations over recent years around women in music, and, festivals get a lot of heat on them
Yep.
about booking diverse lineups and so on. But, ultimately, if there's not a lot of female-fronted bands or female-led projects. Festival bookers just don't have people to choose from. It's not 50-50. There's not 50% female bands, 50%. It doesn't work like that. So probably the most shocking statistics, I think, come from APRA AMCOS, our National Songwriting Collection Society, that shows that only around 20% of songwriter members in Australia are female, only 20%. And then out of all of the money that is paid annually to songwriters, only around 10 to 15% of that money goes to female writers.
Yeah.
So it's quite shocking in terms of, when you think about that, it just means that most of the songs that you hear are written by fellas. And then the other statistic is only 2% of recording producers worldwide are women or female identifying. So almost every song you hear is produced by a fella, and it's amazing. It's great work that's out there. But I just sort of went, well, what can we do to, encourage more women to be writing and contributing to, the Great Australian Songbook of the future. And a lot of the women involved in this project hadn't really had many opportunities to songwrite before. They'd been in bands where they weren't part of the songwriting. They were the singer in the band, but not really the writer. So the first step in this project was to get a whole group of women together and pay them some money to write some songs. And that was awesome.
Yeah, it's great because, like you said, it's hard for me to say this because I'm a man, I'm not a woman. I don't go through the trials and tribulations that women do, but women have got a bit more on their plate than a guy has. A guy can turn around and say, oh, look, I'm going to my man cave, sit down with his guitar and just strum out some chords and write it down. But a woman or chances are she's running a business, she's running a household, and she's doing other things. And if she doesn't have that confidence to step up and say, hey, I want to be part of that writing process, having a safe place like Soul for Women, Women of Soul, is absolutely amazing. It's great. Congratulations on that. Job well done.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, I think it's just, there's something that everybody can do to support women in music. And, one of those statistics is that, most women in Australia are still doing the lion's share of things around the house. So when things become more equal inside the house, women might have more time for songwriting. So there's just one thing: do more housework, everyone. Buy albums made by women, go and see women performing. So all things really helpful.
With the we've got the female writers, we've got the female performers. What about the musicians? Were they all female as well?
Yes.
Wow, that's awesome, amazing. All right, my next question, on a personal level, if you were sitting down to write a song, how would you prepare, or how do you actually prepare to write a song? Ooh, the monster dogs are out. Can you hear them?
Yeah, I love it. I play piano. I'm actually in the process at the moment of writing my next solo album. I sit at the piano, I, jam on some ideas, and, I use the notes on my phone and the little recorder on my phone. I've got a 6-month-old baby. So, if he's napping or I've just got this little window of time, I often just record some ideas into my phone. And then, later on in the day when there's another window of opportunity, I might start playing back those voice memos and coming up with lyrics. But the scroll of chords and scraps of lyric ideas everywhere.
Do you have any superstitions or rituals that you sit down and before you start performing or writing? Or do you just get straight into it?
For performance, I'm pretty disciplined with doing a good vocal warm-up. It's really important for vocal health. And it can be really common to just have a very rushed work day or whatever else has gone on in your day, driving to a show, doing a sound check, and then between sound check and the gig, it's this crazy rush and there's no time for that proper warm-up. But it's really dangerous when singers are in that sort of habit. So I'm very disciplined about vocal health and doing a good warm-up. If time does permit, I will take a yoga mat to gigs and try and do a good stretch. The voice is a muscle and it's connected to all these other muscles. And in fact, the only time I've had any kind of voice issues has not been around my vocal technique at all. It's been more around having shoulder and neck tension from doing my other work and sitting in front of a computer
Yeah.
and you're stressed meeting. And if you're like all locked in like this, it makes singing quite hard. So for me, it's really important to try and relax a bit and get into gig state. I kind of need to click from being producer mode into performer mode.
Yeah.
And I tell all of the Women of Soul artists, a time you can ask me questions about this gig or any producer related stuff
Yeah.
up until this time. And after that, I'm singer Chelsea. And if you've got questions, go ask someone
Yeah.
else, because otherwise I can't have
Yeah.
the time to, get into that zone and do the warm up.
Yeah. Now, you just mentioned you're working on your next album.
Yeah.
But is that your second? Would that be your second album?
This will be my third record.
Third one, because I've got
Do
stats
40
here.
albums.
Your debut album, the title is super super long. I hope you will be very unhappy without me.
Yes.
Was number 2 album of the year on ABC Radio National,
Mm-hmm.
and the best soul album at the Age Music Victoria Awards. It's pretty good going for a debut album.
Yeah, thank you. And I was really thrilled with the response. And off the back of that album,
Yep.
I was invited to perform at Glastonbury Festival in the UK.
Yep.
And performed at London Jazz Cafe and did a show at a club in Paris as well.
Yep.
Also traveled to Indonesia to do a show over there. So the response to that record was really great.
So you're a pretty accomplished artist. You got a lot of feathers in that hat.
Well, it depends on how you
Yeah.
what a feather means to you, I guess.
Yeah. Do you find a lot of younger singers come to you for advice and see you as a role model?
Yeah, I actually do quite a bit of mentoring. I've been involved in the Air Women in Music mentorship program, but I don't only just mentor women. I mentor, all people. I do a little bit of lecturing at the Victorian College of the Arts, VCA Jazz program, part of Melbourne University, and I'm also a casual lecturer and do some sessional lecturing at Box Hill Institute over here and James E Academy and Monash University, and a few places where I get asked to speak on certain things.
Yep.
I used to be the music and interviews manager at PBS 106.7 FM here in Melbourne, which is one of our biggest independent music stations. And through that, I also mentored a lot of emerging broadcasters and artists.
Yep.
And it's something that I love doing. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm also a grants assessor. I do grant marking for the Australia Council, APRA AMCOS, the Australian Music Centre, Creative Victoria, City of Melbourne. So I often get support for grant writing, and I was a board director of Music Victoria for 5 years and deputy chair for 2 years. So,
wow.
I do get asked, and I'm always happy to chat to people. But I encourage everybody to share your knowledge with someone, even if if you think, I'm 21 and I haven't done anything yet. Well, a 21-year-old compared to an 18-year-old has done a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you're 21, you have done a shit ton compared to an 18-year-old. So, or a 15-year-old, you've got so much to share already.
Yep.
So we can all be, paying it forward, paying it back, whatever you want to call it. I think that's just what helps our industry and our community,
Yep. Cool. Okay, so we're up to our 2 segments. Which one would you like to do first, the get to know or the music trivia?
Let's do the trivia. Why not?
Cool.
I'm not sure I'm the best trivia person, but we'll see.
So I went through normally they're random questions. But what I did, I went through and I picked out 10, because we're talking about Women of Soul. I picked out 10 questions that relate to female artists. So hopefully you'll get these right. All righty, here we go. Are you ready?
Sure.
Cool. Question number 1, true or false? Tanya Doko is from the duo Bachelor Girl.
True.
Correct. That was a nice, easy one to get started. Who recorded Jenny from the Block?
J-Lo?
Yep. What was Kelly Clarkson's debut song?
Oh, goodness. Well, I know she was Australian Idol winner. Was
American
it
Idol.
American Idol?
Yep.
Sorry. Since
Yep.
you've been gone, there's my guess.
No, Miss Independent. Miss Independent.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep.
Next question, true or false? Love Me Like You Do was Ellie Goulding's first number one song or number one single in Australia. It was from the 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, God. Never read it. Never watched it. I'm going to guess true.
Correct. You guessed correct. Okay. Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time is one of the most coveted songs of all time. True or false? Yep, true.
Absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, Miles Davis. I mean, like the list is huge.
Yep. It's amazing. Time After Time, come off her debut album. It's been the most coveted song, well, one of the most coveted songs of all time. And most of the songs off that album were covers. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next question. Wendy Matthews was in the bands Models and Absent Friends. True or false?
True.
Yes, correct. You're doing all right. I think you've only got one wrong.
I didn't know Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah. Oh, what do you like with your hip hop and R&B?
Oh, well, let's see.
Okay, Coolio. Do you know who Coolio? Gangsta's Paradise, Coolio?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Coolio released a song 10 days after his death with Aussie rapper Cardia. True or false?
I don't know.
It's true.
It's true. Yeah.
True, yeah. Yeah, 10 days after he passed away, they released the song. And it was like,
I thought you were going to ask me what song Gangsta's Paradise was sampling.
Nah,
I can answer Pastime Paradise from Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life.
Well, there you go. I didn't know that one. But
no, I'm not.
I'm going to have to write that one down for next time. Okay. Next question. Alanis Morissette is from Adelaide. True or false?
False.
Cool. Yep. Which of the following is not an Adele album? 19, 21, 27, or 30?
27.
Correct. Do you know what it is? What number?
What our albums are?
Yeah. So it was 19, 21, 30, and what was the other one?
It wasn't 27.
No, but what was it?
25?
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
Okay, the last question. Ella Hooper is from the band
Killing Heidi.
Correct. She's just released a country album.
I know,
and
she's smashing the ARIA charts with it too. So big congrats to Ella Hooper.
Cool. Yes, good.
She is fantastic. She's a phenomenal artist, but she's an absolute sweetheart. Yep. Hilarious. She's so funny, and she's a huge astrology nut. If you meet her, she'll be like, "What sign are you?" and just give you the whole rundown.
Oh, don't get me started on astrology. I could be there for ages.
Oh yeah, you are astrologer as well, closet astrologer.
No, well, no, like I'm a Sagittarian, but I'm one of those Sagittarians that fall into that new 13th sign.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I keep it to myself, mainly because people laugh at me when I say I like reading my horoscopes and things. Like, yeah, but it works for some anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. So now we got our get to know. So this is get to know Chelsea, and we're going to have 10 random questions that you probably wouldn't get asked in an interview. You probably wouldn't get asked these by an adult. So your kids will probably ask you these one day anyway. So are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you don't like any of the questions, you can pass, but we've never had anyone pass. Do you prefer Coke or Pepsi?
I don't drink any sugary drinks.
Cool, that's good. I'm addicted to them.
Well,
not energy drinks, though.
Tea.
Pardon? Yeah.
Tea.
Yeah,
I don't put sugar in my tea, but I have about 8 to 10 cups of tea a day.
Yeah. I'm addicted to iced tea, peach iced tea.
That's nice. I do like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, what's a food you can't get enough of?
Kale.
Yeah. It's good for you too. No sugar and heaps of kale. Okay. What is your worst bad habit?
Oh, I think you'd have to ask my fella that one.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could come up with a list. Um, Look, it'd probably be, a bad habit is like not cleaning the desktop of my computer and not backing things up. It
Oh,
would have to be computer related because I'm so
yeah.
busy. I'm like, right, next thing, just do the next thing, and then next minute it's like I can't find that file, and
Yeah,
yes,
I know that. I know that feeling, especially when you don't back up. And I learned that lesson the hard way. So now I've got it automated. So every night it backs everything up without me
oh,
having to
yeah.
worry about it. Have you ever lost anything from not backing up?
Yeah, I think I have. So I'm a lot better at that now, but I
Yeah.
still have a very messy desktop, physically and on the computer.
Yep. All right. Back to the questions. Your favorite venue to perform at?
Oh, this is a really tough one because there's so many, wonderful venues. I have to say, though, probably Melbourne Recital Centre.
Yep.
It is
Cool.
just such a gorgeous room, and the sound is always phenomenal in there. So you feel
Yeah.
amazing in the room because the acoustics are so good.
No, it's good. It's good when yeah, I've talked for ages. Like you could when you feel the ambience and you feel the performance as a person watching it, it's really good. And when you can find a
Mm.
venue like that, it's yeah, it's even better. But okay, your biggest fan, mum or dad?
Fan of me.
Yeah, your biggest fan is it your mum or dad?
Probably mum.
Yep,
Yeah. Oh, they're both big fans though. Dad comments on all of the Facebook posts.
yep,
Actually, probably my stepdad
yep,
is my biggest fan, probably more than either mum or dad.
yep. We had just recently we had Ella and Sienna on, and we asked them the same question: who was the biggest fan, mum or dad? And one of the girls said it was mum, and one of the girls said it was dad. So
No.
it was a nice mix. Alrighty. Name a place you want to visit before you die.
Cuba.
Cuba. If you couldn't do what you're doing now, what would you be doing?
Uh, well, broadcasting. I mean, radio is my, you
Yep.
know, other main passion besides singing.
Yep. So
Definitely.
doing that, what would be your all-time favorite song?
Oh, this is a tough one. I mean, there's so many favorite
Yeah.
songs.
And it change. I find it changes from mood to mood, day to day. So you
Well,
can just.
absolutely. But I really love a jazz standard called
Yep.
April in Paris. That was the first time that I'd heard a Ella Fitzgerald recording, and it's one of the,
Yep.
it was a real catapult for me to fall in love with jazz and become a singer. So always
Yep.
April in Paris. It's such a romantic song. It's got great changes, great feel. It's nostalgic. It's everything.
Cool. Hey, best pickup line given or received?
Oh God. Um, I don't know. I can't say I'm a big fan of pickup culture in general, really. I mean, I think it's if you want to get my attention, you need to not have a cheesy line and just be genuine and
Yeah.
no gimmicks and just, the real thing.
Cool.
Yeah,
Last question. What is your spirit animal?
spirit animal. Um, Spirit animal. That is a question I
Yep.
don't think I've ever been asked before. Jeez, spirit animal. Might have to have a think about
Yeah.
that one. Hmm, I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna have our first pass ever.
Maybe I'll go kangaroo.
Kangaroo. There you go.
They're Australian. They're always jumping around. They're pretty energetic.
That was a good one.
Oh, I
Anyway,
always feel happy when I see a wallaby or a kangaroo.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm gonna go kangaroo.
cool. Oh,
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
I just noticed I haven't got the background's disappeared. I wonder what happened with that. That's no good. Anyway, let's see if we can bring it back up. Yeah, it's disappeared. It doesn't want to do it on the screen. Oh, there we go. It's back. Hey. So, hey, thank you very much for joining us for a chat. It's gone a bit over time, but it's been a pleasure, Candice, having a Chelsea. Candice is tomorrow. Yeah, it's been a pleasure having a chat finding out that your spirited animal is, and all the work that you've done to help women in the music industry. And congratulations on Women of Soul. And good luck when the album comes out, or the EP comes out on the 2nd of June. So
Thank you so
thank you very
much.
much.
Yeah,
No,
thanks so much for having me and for all your support and the work you're doing on supporting independent Australian music. It's really important. It's really vital work, and it's really appreciated.
yeah, no, we've all got to get behind our artists and give a bit of support. So, too easy. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
All right,
thanks
take
so
care.
much.
Bye.
Yeah.